Good afternoon and welcome to our PHP tutorial for today. Today we're going to look at a PHP variable scope. What does that mean? What do we mean by variable scope? The part of the script the variable can be accessed refer to the scope of the variable. Now, let me give you this example. Now, before we go, we have two types of variable scope. We have the local and the global scope. So we have the local scope, and the global scope, Now, let me give you this example. This is x is equal to 1. This variable, let me write function here. My function. This variable declare outside this function as a global scope. It cannot be accessed out inside this function. So let us try and see. X. So we want to let us echo this x. Let's echo the x. I think this is a scope. So let's so you can see. Okay, let me call it. It's supposed to throw an error. You see, undefined variable. So this variable has a global scope. It cannot be accessed inside this function because any variable here is a local variable. So any variable outside the function is a global variable. And so in the same way, when you define variable, okay, let me define. Oh, sorry. I'll comment this one out because we are still going to use them. So let me comment it. Now I want to define the variable. I want to define a variable y to be equal to 20. Okay, let me try to access this variable. Now variable y outside the function. This is a variable y. So I want to access it now. It's inside the function. I want to access it outside the function. Now let us see what it's going to give us. It's saying that undefined variable. Why? Because this one has a local scope. You can't access it outside the function. So if you want to access this one, you access it inside the function. So okay, let me copy it now. Let me cut it now. Let me and paste it here. This is already a local variable. So we are accessing it inside the function. This is a local variable defined inside the function. Now declare inside the function. So we are accessing the variable y now inside the function. So let's see what it's going to give us. You see, we are accessing because it's declared inside the function. So we access it inside the function. And that is um, how the local variable operates. So in the same way, okay, let me comment this one out. Okay, so let me access this variable now. This variable x, I can access it anywhere outside the function. So let me access x and see what it's going to give us. So for echo x. So you see, we access it anywhere. We can access it anywhere except in the function. You can't get this variable because it has a global scope. This one has a global scope. This one has a local scope. Now, this variable that has a global scope, you have only one alternative to access it inside the function. So if you want to access this one now, okay, let me clear this one now. If I want to access this variable this variable x now inside the function. So I have to use the keyword global. I have to use the keyword global inside the function. So this is the global. Then now global variable x, so that I can access it inside the function. So if before I could access this one inside the function, now I must have to declare this one. I must use the word global variable x. Then I now access it inside the function. So that is the only way I can access it inside the function. Okay, let's echo this variable x now. That is outside. That has the global scope now. So let's access it inside the function now and see what it's going to give us. So you can see we are now accessing. Okay, let's make it like 100 and see what happens. So you can now see, we can now access this variable now, which is it has a global scope inside the function because you use the word global. So that is yours is the variable declared outside the function has a global scope. It cannot be accessed, but if you want to access it, you must use the word keyword global. Then you access it. Then the variable declared inside the function has a local scope. It cannot be accessed inside the function. Now, there is another alternative to access the variable declare inside the function. I think I dealt with it very well in global scope, super global variable. So the only thing is to pass in super global variable, global inside the function. Then you access it. So now I hope you are clear with this one. This is a variable declared outside the function has a global scope. It cannot be accessed inside the function. If you want to access it, use the global keyword to access it. Then you echo it inside the function. Then the one declared inside the function has a local scope. It cannot be accessed. Now, if I want to pass in variable to access inside in the function, to access inside the function, I have to use the word keyword. I have to use global super global variable. Okay, let us clear the whole of this one now. Now let us pass in a variable called super. This is a keyword super global. Now this let me declare variable y. This is variable y. Now let me say equals to 90. Now this is variable y. This is variable y. I use super global variable to declare this variable. This is how it works. So I use super global variable. So now I can access this y now outside the function. As I can access this outside the function. So let's see what happens now. So this is variable y. So let me echo this variable y. So I see what is going to happen. So this is a variable y that is 90. You see, we can access it now outside the function. But under normal circumstances, a variable that has a local, any variable declared outside the function cannot be accessed. But with super global variable declared inside the function, you can access it, and you can use this one to update a global variable. So you watch my super global variable tutorial. So that is how it works. So the variable that declares outside the function has a global scope, and the one that declares inside the function has a local scope. Both the one declared inside the function can never be accessed outside. The one declared outside the function cannot be accessed, but use some techniques like using global keyword to access it within the function. Then we can declare the variable using the super global variable within the function so that we can access it outside. So that is how it works. This is a super global variable. Thank you for watching. God bless you. God reward you. Your subscription is highly needed. Subscribe to our YouTube video, and God will bless you. Thank you.